I remember when I was little, I liked to play the trumpet and fill the bird feeders with my dad. My favorite thing to do was to watch these television shows about nature. I loved seeing the far-off places people would travel.
To the north of me, there's an immense desert the size of the United States of America.
These were places that I wanted to be. I loved watching the incredible things that they would do there.
The most venomous snake in the world. This is one wild unit. This is the snake you don't want to get tagged by.
These were all things that I wanted to do. Everything sounded truly wondrous and wild.
Woohoo! Paradisia apoda, the bird of paradise without legs.
But I also remember being little, going outside, and it wasn't like what I saw on television. There were no giant jungle cats lying around the forest. I didn't find any exotic birds perched on any trees. There's always so much to see in the places I saw on television, but there's never that much around me. So I grew up imagining, daydreaming about the places that I saw on television, the places where I knew nature really existed. One day, I knew I'd get there. Eventually, I went to college. I decided to study ecology, which is the science of the plants and animals that one day I hope to see, and the places that one day I hope to visit. Until I decided to take one class that absolutely and completely changed my life. Woody plants. Woody plants was simple. Students had to memorize over 200 trees and ID those trees just by the shape of their leaf or the texture of their bark or the traits of their twig. And gradually, simple things became intricate. And everything became a lot more complex. It made me start to notice things everywhere. This was huge. My world had snapped into focus. I noticed all sorts of things that I'd never seen before, like birches and oaks, and maples, willows, and elms, forming intricate communities that interacted in never-ending battles for resources and space. It was intricate and exciting. It was dramatic and complex, and everything suddenly seemed truly wondrous and wild. Suddenly, I spent all day noticing the incredible things outside. I didn't know what to do. Until the summer I worked here, Winterthur Gardens in Delaware, taking care of the plants that surrounded the mansion. I lived on the property, right here at the Butler House. And every day, I'd walk to work, grab some gloves and shovels, and spend all day taking care of the plants. And after work, I'd put on boots and wade through the streams that wound throughout the property. I looked for interesting plants, relaxed in the cool water, and I listened to the trickling sounds that the stream made. When one day, I came across something new. I found a frog. This frog was incredible. One of the froggiest frogs I'd ever seen. It was green with big eyes and speckled legs. I heard it croak and it sounded like a banjo string. It was incredible. So I photographed it and every other frog that I could catch. And every day after work, catching frogs and filming them. Then one day I decided to put all my films together in a video. I posted it online so that all my friends could see. And then slowly, something cool started to happen. See, and this is where things kind of all started to make sense. And I kind of suddenly noticed that everything had just changed. See, my natural world, it all just snapped right into focus. And everywhere I looked, I found something that was incredible. And now I knew that I figured out how to share it all with the world. So I started, and I just couldn't stop. I made a video about slime balls in a pond, and then another about birds, and then insects and squirrels. And then I won a grant from National Geographic to make videos about kelp forests and giant sequoias and fire towers. And then next, they asked me to make a television show about invasive species and sharks and caribous and sled dogs. And people liked it, so I got to take all my friends to the Emmys. And we lost, but it was fine because we made our show even bigger. So we built a huge set and hired a whole bunch of people. And then we made shows in places like Alaska and Hawaii. We filmed flying over volcanoes and diving amongst jellyfish. It aired in the US and South America and Asia. And suddenly, what started with a tiny little frog that I found after work in a stream in my yard turned into a big giant thing in a whole bunch of places that people were watching all over the world. But things change. Even when people like the things you create, sometimes you can't keep creating them. So for the first time in a long time, I had a little break. I've been very lucky. I had some wonderful experiences, created some shows that taught people things and that people enjoyed. But some of these things were filmed in far-off places.
Colorado, Arizona, Alaska.
That people might never go. About incredible things that people might never see.
Coolest thing ever.
How cool is that?
Which reminded me of some other shows that I watched a long time ago. Which made me realize that it was time to make something different. Something new. Something that I've been trying to make this whole time.
That's cool. How'd you make it?
So I called my friend Jesse, who's good with a camera. We're set to work on a new kind of show.
What's it about?
A show that can make this kid care about this. That can help people's natural world snap into focus. That shows people you don't have to travel across the world to find something incredible. Not at all. See, the truth is, you can find something incredible wherever you are. Just get up, go outside, and see what you can find. So we set out, we put it together, and made it just for you. Nature Parade.
This is the name of the show.
Come with us and discover all the incredible things waiting right outside.